So we got to this point that like our UV mapping was already there. I had some UV mapping issues here. I can see that like, let's say I want this to be like a proper glass. So like, but I see that like some pieces are just like not doing all right. Like here, from here to here, if you see like this piece could be taken, and so I'm gonna just do some cutting and sewing just to finalize my UV mapping. So this one could go and could be connected to, what is this one? This one is in the back. And actually I just want to like a nice, like, what is this? Yeah. So what I do, you know what? I just want to make an overall cut here. Shift right click cut. And then I will have multiple pieces. So like this one is one nice piece over here, which I would start using it. But like, what about the rest, which are like this, like so scattered around? So what I may do, I may just select them, all of them, and just do one mapping from the Z direction to all of them. Yeah. So you see that I get like a nicer distribution. Then I can shift right click, unfold, and unfold it up. Yeah, I think I've got a beautiful UV mapping on these two sides now. So what I just need to do, select both of them, press Ctrl L, and also press R and make them slightly tinier. So like so we get like only them in one-on-one space. So I have Ctrl 1 again. So I have everything UV, nice and neat. What I do now actually is that I want to send this into Substance Painter and start texture painting. But I want you to understand the pipeline. So we are in Maya, as I said. We want to go to Substance Painter. Let me make my brush larger. Give me a second. So we are in Maya, and we want to go to Substance Painter, and we want to come back, right? The way we go to Substance Painter is FBX. The way we come back is PBR textures. So we send a geo, but we receive a bunch of textures. So like how we make it work. So like what I usually do, I just build up a connection and then start working on. So first of all, in Maya, go to the window, setting and preferences, plugin manager, and then make sure that Substance plugin is loaded. Oh, what's that issue? The specified project could not be found. Plugin windows. There might be an issue with Substance Painter installation. So it loads in 2024. So what I do, I open the same geometry here. So I continue here. So you guys can continue in 2024 as well. So Substance plugin is loaded here. So you see that it is here, like it gets added to your shelf, and then you've got this Substance Painter plugin set, which makes your life super easy. You don't need, if you remember last week, we started to just connect the textures to each other. So we don't need to do that with this plugins. So what I do, I just like quickly export my geometry as FBX, export selection, So I'm gonna make let's make a project first. Window, create project window. I just want to make a project on my desktop. Call it Ghost Project. Inside that, select it. Make sure this one is Maya related stuff because I want to have inside that folder substance painter and stuff as well. Shift S. So I'm gonna save the scene here, and I call it Ghost. So I've got my model. I go to the. So I just created just a project because that's where I want to put the textures in. So you know that for the textures to work for you, you need a project folder. So this is what I have created, a project folder which contains subfolders, including like scene folder, source images, and stuff like that. Okay, so let's export selection as FBX. So if you have your characters modeled for your own project, you can export it as FBX as well. And just export, go to the Substance Painter, go to the file, new file, and select the template. We want PBR metallic roughness. Yes, I will show you because I want the glasses to be transparent. Later on, we add PBR metallic roughness with opacity, but we do it later. So like, so it's PBR. It's physically based rendering again, which is a way of working, and it works with multiple channels, including color, metallic, roughness, and each one of them have a meaning. I don't want to import the cameras. I don't want to auto unwrap because I did UV unwrapping before. So I just point to the to my FBX file, and document resolution, you can put it 4K here or like after. It doesn't matter. You can. So once you import it, you get your character here. So I'm gonna do something stupid and crazy right away, and it's just like go to the smart materials. Actually, like and then drag a bunch of materials on this. And then send it back to Maya right away. So I will show you why I do this. Because I want, so I just drag this for the eyes, drag like, I don't know, something gold for the glasses, and then some glass for glass visor, and a fabric for the fabric, and a something for the tongue, something red for the tongue. So why I do that? So I have a structure. So I just wanna. I have to before you start to work, you have to be able to see whatever you see in Substance Painter inside Maya. They should look exactly the same. So what I do, I just so here in this here you have a bunch of materials, right? Also, you have if you hold Shift and right click or middle click, you have this kind of HDR light in your area. So what's that HDR light located? If you click on this little icon on top right and click on the panorama, so you see that there's a bunch of HDRI in action. So if let's say we click on that atelier, so you see that the lighting condition completely changes. So where you can find those HDRI to send them to Maya as well, they are here. So I right click on this they are here at the end, which says like, I don't know, panoramas. I right click on this Atelier 1. I have to set my Wacom tablets menus. Give me a second. Okay, so I just right click here and say export resource, and I export this HDRI into my project, into my source images, as you do always, and call it HDRI here and save it here. So my HDRI is exported. It's time to export all the textures. Go to the file, export textures, and here you see that, oh, you get like, you can start exporting body and eye and frame and glass and tongue. So if you do, but where do you want to export it? You click here and select your project source images, and here maybe I leave them all here in the root of that, but in the output template I just make sure to select Arnold AI standards. So I'm ready to export them all, and here you see that it says metallic roughness. So you export them, all of the textures get exported. Come back to Maya. So we want to bring those textures in, and we want to ideally get an image render that looks like this right away first, before we start working in Substance Painter. So how to import those materials and textures? By clicking on this little thing that says apply workflow to maps. So if you click on that, it gives you this window. If you click on select multiple maps, then you go to the project folder, and then so you got your body textures, hold shift, select all the body, and then apply one more for the eye, one more for the frame. You see that it's the preset is set on Arnold. Later on, after this, once we do some texture painting, I will show you how to create textures for Redshift, because that might be your preferred rendering platform, because it's very efficient and nice. So currently we just use the basic Arnold rendering. So I just import the frame, glass, and tongue, and then we would be all right. Glass and tongue. Where these textures that I select go, they go to your shader, hypershade. So if you click on this hypershade icon on top, you see them added here with the name AI standard shader, but you have to rename them. Like, let's say body, so this one is body. So I just don't rename them because I want to do the whole entire process again. So I just want to make sure that this is, let's name them body. That one is eye mat. This one is frame mat. This one is glass. And last one is tongue, of course. So now what I do, I just middle click, drag and drop them. So that's for the, if you press 6, you should be able to see the texture. So that's for the body, that's for the eye, this eye and the other eye, and that's for the frame. Oops, let me select the frame, right click on this, assign material to selection, and glass, these two for glasses, and the tongue. If things go dark because Maya viewport cannot show them, that's fine. All you have to do is to add a dome light, which you do here, Arnold. Add a dome light. Control A. Go find your HDRI file and find your HDRI, which is here. Make sure you select your light, and in the camera, turn off the camera so we don't see the HDRI in the rendering. Add a camera here. Go look through the camera. Turn on the resolution gate. So we are ready with everything we want. So now you just go back to Arnold and run it. So the result you get here should be very close to what you see in Substance Painter. So for the first time it runs, it converts all the textures, so that might take some time. But after converting all the textures, it will be faster. So if you see like such a crazy thing, is because that's cool actually, but is because that for example here the body has a, if I select this as here you got displacement shader. If I select the shader group, let me pause. Okay, what I was saying that is that this, when you select surface shader group and you open the connections, you see this displacement shader and it's set to 1, which is huge. It should be like, I don't know, 1% or 10%. So let's test render this. I just make sure to save it before I press render. Okay, so now I got like a render that I can start rotating my HDRI. So I get like a result that like looks like exactly looks like. So you see that I can rotate this until I get like a proper angle that looks like this. So now I can say that, okay, we're there. We're almost there. So like things start to working. The glass also has a like high height map, but that's fine. So okay, so the pipeline is there. Everything is interconnected. Now we can start texture painting. Okay, hello, this is Substance Painter. And so when you open Substance Painter and bring the your geometry, you have for each piece actually here you see that like you have your body and then eye, and then each one of them come with the UV on this view, and then the 3D render of it here. I like to see only 3D, so I just press F2 or like select here only 3D. So before start, so let's delete everything we applied. So for the body, I just want to delete all of that. Eye, frame. So I'm deleting everything. Why is even the default layer? So now it's nothing, right? I save the project. So if it crashes, I save it here into the Substance. I call it Ghost. I'm not worried about calling Ghost multiple times because they come with different extensions. So I know that this is ghost.spp, which means Substance Painter. So I Substance Painter can generate a bunch of data for you that like makes your texture painting beautiful and amazing. And this data is an extra processing on top of what you have. So if you go to the texture set settings, and if you scroll down, you have a section that says Bake Mesh Maps. If you click on that, and a window opens that you can start baking a map. What does baking means? So there are some information. So let's say you can see where are the edges of these eyeglasses are, but the software can't see. You can see where is the top, where is the bottom, right? If the rain comes, which like the head gets hit by the rain first and the top last, but the software can't see that, right? There are a bunch of information that we want to inject into this texture painting, and the baking is the process of generating those informations and incorporating them into the texture painting project. So here I don't want to do on the eye because it's very simple, but I will do for the rest with a decent resolution, like maybe 1K or 2K. 2K is nice. So your body, your frame, glass, and tongue, maybe not tongue as well. Tongue is very simple. So eye and tongue for me is very simple, but the rest possibly need some texture painting. So what information I want to embed? Normal map, word space normal, ID map. I don't want ID map because my objects are separate. If my objects were not separate, let me just give you a case in Maya. So let's go and I duplicate this. I just want to show none. Oh, this is new. Interesting. Show none and show only polygons. I don't know. This is the new thing in Maya 2024, but like, let's look at this second one. Imagine that all the pieces, so at the moment you see the pieces are separate, right? So that makes working in Substance Painter easier as well. But if they were like shift right click and then I combine them, so like you see that they're only one object, then you could have object IDs which you can select like different parts, like for example glass here and mesh display and apply color, and then say that, so apply a random color to each part. So for example here it should show, I don't know why, but so what you will see that you send this information into Substance Painter and you get different IDs. Then you build the ID here. We want ambient occlusion, we want curvature, we want position, we want thickness, and we want height as well. Maybe not the thickness, but height. And opacity, I bake it for the glass, but not for the, so let me just do that for the body, height, not thickness, not ID. For the frame, not ID, not we need normal, but not thickness, but height. For the glass, I want opacity as well, right? So now we have all the maps ready. So click Bake Textures. You see that starts creating some stuff out there. We just have to wait because it's multiple layers. And then later on, we start using these information for our processing. So I excluded eyes and I excluded tongue as well. So cool. I see there's an issue here, which I think it's on the glass, but let's return back to the. So this issue is actually it's on the glass, and it's ambient occlusion on the glass, which you saw that I just removed it. So I don't want ambient occlusion on the glass. So I clicked on this cross. So texture settings are ready. So let's go and start working on the layers. So I start working on the body layer. So texture painting in Substance Painter is like bread and butter. It's very easy, very joyful. And the process is that you either have like a fill layer or a paint layer. Okay, so let's start painting. Just click on the paint, and you can start and then change the color here. You have the color I don't know, whatever color, and start painting on it. So that's easy, right? But that might not be the way you want to paint and the thing you want. There are some nicer way to start. So what I start with is this fill layer. So if you click on the fill layer, as the name says, it fills it with a color, right? So let's say with a material, not a color. So this material comes with color, height, roughness, metal, and normal map. So and each one of them has a section here, a component here that does something. For example, color is color, of course. Roughness, height is that height map, or displacement map. I talked about it. Height map is different than normal map. So let me just assign a normal map here. So let's say search for normal map, and I look for let's I don't know, something this it's huge. So I see this vent circular. It's if you see it from this angle without the edges, you see, oh, there's this created that kind of vent shape on the body. But when you look at the edges, you realize, oh, it's a fake kind of representation of a bumpiness on the surface. So that's normal map. So if I paint normal map, if I paint normal map, I would start to see those. Height map, if I grab that vent and apply it to height map, if the same one we just saw, this time you see that, oh, the surface is actually impacted. The surface has those impactions. The height map is the deformation of the surface. Actually, we have some height map. If I click here and search for height map, so you have some height maps like this one. Like you can apply and see like actual height map in action. Roughness is, if the surface would be rough, it's not shiny. Roughness is the opposite of shininess. The more rough, the less shiny. The less rough, the more shiny. It's easy to remember. And metallic is, so let's say we just make it like metallic. The name is very self-explanatory. This one is now looks plasticky, right? Let me just make the color like a little bit copperish, so you can. So when you look at this, you say that it's not definitely copper, man. This is plastic. But if you increase metallicness, you start to see, oh, now this is a metal. So these components, color, height, roughness, metallic, and normal map, are multiple components of a PBR system, physically based rendering, that we discussed before. So, but usually we just don't drop it like this. We drop a shader and then we click on this little magic, click on this mask and say add black mask. It gives black mask to everything. So, and if you remember with a simple math, black is 0, right? Multiply with anything, if I put n for anything, is 0. And white is 1. So if it gets multiplied with anything, gets anything again. So black mask means remove it. White mask means keep it, right? So we usually add a black mask to remove everything, and then we click on this magic wand and then add a paint layer and then start painting it back. This is the way you work. So like you create a material, you you can grab a brush you like as well. So not a simple brush like oh, this is like bullet impact, which is nice. But a brush you like, and then start paint back a material you created. Or so let's do it the other way. So let's say here we have this like kind of material. So let's do it the other way. I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna click on this mask and oh no. How can I delete the mask? Clear mask. Right click, clear mask, or remove mask. Now I work in a different way. I just add white mask, which means keep everything. Then you can paint your white mask with this magic wand and say add paint, and then you press X on keyboard, so your paint becomes black. Let's look at the color of the paint. So where's my paint brush? Color. No. I want and you paint it away, but this one is a bit naughty for me. It should completely paint it away for me. But anyway, so I would start doing something interesting for this layer. I create a group. I like to start with smart materials. Guys, smart materials is nothing but like a combination of whatever I'm talking about today. So if you see, like, I like this, have a fabric, maybe a, what is this? Fabric denim. What is this? Looks cool, but it's not what I want. Fabric, flander. Okay, that looks cooler. So it's a different type of ghost. So I drop this material on it, and when you look at it, it has a folder, and inside that folder, this material has multiple layers of complexity. So it has a base, and then like it has a surface detail, and then like this. So like you see that in these edges. So let me just change the color of the base to something what I like more. And let's also the texture, guys, the texture repetition is just too big for me. So we have to find where the texture gets repeated. I realize that this pattern vertical and pattern horizontal are, so you can turn them on and off to see what they do. So for example, here, these clumps are this dirtiness on the surface. These folds are the folds, as it says. You see the folds? This fiber general is the fiber, and this decolorization are the area. So what I do, I just select this pattern horizontal and go to the attributes of this texture and say that let's have more tiling. Oh, doesn't show the tiling to me. So let me talk about this tiling and then come back to you. I turn this off. I add a group like this one and say that body material, and inside that I can add this one. Yeah, inside that, which is the fill layer, and this fill layer so if you see that this fill layer is basically a material, and this material has color, height, roughness, metal, and normal map. Each material, it's basically a material stack. So if you just say that this one only defines color, so you can turn off height and roughness and metal and normal map. So this one only defines the color, and you can load a checker map here just to see. So if I add a checker map, you see that it's a huge checker map. So I can go to the tiling of it and make it tiled here. Even guys, you have a bit of texture projection flexibility here. If you see that like my UV here doesn't work well with these checker map, you can go to the UV projection and say try planar projection. That does some interesting mapping. I just like to increase the hardness as well because the edges are fine. So then, so that's your, let's say that's your texture. Then you can work on another layer and like add a bit of, so let's say I add this layer on top, and I just add, so let's say here we want to do displacements, and you turn off everything except height map, and then in height map you search for denim or fabric and find a fabric that you like pattern and let it displace your surface. Maybe this one. You see that started to displace the surface. It's just too huge. So like if I tile it even more, so I can add 50. And I don't want this to be so deep, so the height's going to be much less. So now it looks like it's been patterned with this like kind of height map. So you carry on build up like different type of materials like this. So you can have like you can have a displacement map. So this one, let's inside here create another fill layer. And sorry, you can create a, let me just drop it here. So I'm just call this roughness. So this roughness gonna define. So if I turn off everything except roughness, this is going to define. So you see here is very kind of boring and plain, but you can add, so let's say a kind of a texture for roughness. Actually, I can start saying that if you see the roughness here, like here is like no roughness, here is very shiny. So the roughness is visible like through kind of the patterns and also displacement map or height map as well. If you see the rendering is just poor quality, click on this shader and go say that the quality not be low, it would be high. So you kind of get a little bit better outcome. But in the rendering, we will definitely get a better result. So that's the roughness. It could have a texture on it as well. So your roughness could follow a bit of maybe a dirty roughness. So it is rough. It has roughness, but it's dirty. You see that dirt on the roughness? It's like a toy that's been used and played by a kid, and it's. Let me turn off the displacement map. So you see the roughness. So this roughness without the texture, with the texture. So you see that it gives a bit of like interesting patterns on the roughness. That everything can have a little bit of storytelling. This like the tiling could be, for the roughness could be where is the tiling for you? It's here. The tiling could be less, so it would be big, huge roughness patterns on the surface that shows like it's been. It's not so. It's shiny, but it's not so clean. It's not like wiped out. And of course, so you see that like here in this time, I treated my material with multiple layers, and each layer is doing something. So let me just add another layer for metallic. So I can make it, so I turn off again everything except metalness. I can increase metalness, so I say that, oh, this is a metallic surface, as you see. No metallic. But also I can say that it follows a, like, I don't know, a galvanized or what is this, grunge galvanized. So it is metallic in parts, but not in other parts. So it's just like, it's not a. So let me turn off roughness and texture. So you see only metallic in action. So this is the metallic in action. So it's metallic in some parts, but not everywhere. So let's add a. So this is 100% metallic. This is a metallic which is dirty. Let's add a dirt. So this dirt 4. So you see that it's metallic on parts, other parts not. So it's a more interesting pattern to look at. So you see that like how different materials stack on top of each other and create like a complicated shader. This is like a very basic checker and like patterns, but it looks much more pleasing to look at. It looks like complicated and fascinating. So let's work on the body. So I'm going to click this, turn this off. I'm going to go to the material IDs. By the way, guys, these material IDs, where they come from, if you remember the first time that we created this geometry, we assigned different materials to different parts. And that's what we see here. So I'm going to turn off eye and frame and glass and tongue. So we only see the body. So the fabric on the body looks like this. So I would like to work on it a little bit more. I just want to see What is this wrap? So that's the base funnel is the color, of course, and these are the patterns horizontally and vertically. Is there any way to deal with these patterns? I don't know, because the tiling on them, and it's only on colors, and the tiling on them, maybe I do like a triplanar projection. No, it has no effect on it. So let me turn off the patterns, or maybe the patterns are controlled by something else on top of it. No. Okay, so let me show you something you can add on top of this. So let's say you want to say that this is like a little bit undistinguishable. Again, I'm going to turn this off, add another group, and in this group I just don't bother naming it. So I add like a fill layer, and then I assign a texture on it. So let's go find a texture. Okay, so you can say that I'm going to have actually the same denim texture would have been nice, or fabric, if I search for fabric. So I can give it a color as we did. That blue, light blue color, and it only would be, so I keep this roughness normal map and everything for now. I assign a texture for the so instead of drag and drop this into the color here, base color could receive this as a texture, right? I add a mask, add a black mask, and then add a fill to the mask, and then drop this to the fill. So then you see you get a much nicer shape here with a bit of repetition. You get a beautiful pattern on the surface, which could be triplanar as well. And then so this is nice and neat. These eye socket stuff comes from texture setting, ambient occlusion texture setting. If I turn that off, you'd see it's gone, but I need it, so I undo that. So what I'm going to say that how we add dirt and other like effects on this surface. This is like a basic surface, right? So you can start adding layers. So for example, you can add this dirt layer on top and make it dirty, like this. Only would impact color, and you go to here and say that add generator. Generator is magical because it has some generators in it, including this one that is my favorite, which is the curvature. So you can add curvature. It recognizes all the curvature, but before doing that, you have to add a black mask and then add a generator and then add the curvature. It recognizes, you see that it suddenly starts to recognize these edges, right? So curvature is an algorithm that recognizes the edges. So here you see that if I go to this normal, and so this is without curvature dirt applied. This is with 100% applied, this one, which is not really ideal. Maybe I go somewhere in between. So its dirtiness is added on top of it a little bit. So this is just a basic application of like a generator, but also you can add layers. So let's say I add another layer on top of this, make it add a color, sorry. And then you can add filters here, which are very interesting, these filters. If I click filter, and you see like there's a bunch of amazing filters. Like you can if you apply the texture, you can make it like, I don't know, more saturated, less saturated, darker, brighter. But also like these complicated material effects textures. So for example, this one is a paint flake. So it's like this one has been painted, but like has been flaked out, or less or more. So you can make use of these textures. This is so ugly and terrible, but just to let you know the impact of it. The one that I use mostly are these ones, these metallic ones. So let's say you bring something, you add a finish to it. So you see that this is like a sort of galvanized finish, but I have to increase the metallicness of this surface, so this starts to show its impact as a galvanized metal. So you see that, oh, it's such a cool galvanized metal. You don't need it 100%, so you just need a part of this effect applied, which you can control the intensity of the flakes. So this is a much more pleasant kind of a metallic shape to look at. So you see that you can easily create like complicated materials out of this. So let's get back to our cloth. I want to add a bit of dirt on top of this. So what I do, as I did, I add a layer on top. This layer on top is I can create it out of here, and I create a group, say additional, which means additional stuff, and then bring this one, call this one dirt, and then only work on color. Of course, that is mainly applied on the color, and then select a sort of a dirt color, and then add a black mask, and then add a you can add a generator. And so there's something like, if you need for oil dripping and things, you have this dirt, which is or curvature. So this dirt will go and find it actually uses your you see that it's just like, oh, so dirty, but it uses your global illumination, sorry, ambient occlusion map for creating the dirt. But I want this to recalculate it. So instead of that one, I use curvature generator here to recalculate the area that the dirt should be. You see that, oh, suddenly I get a very beautiful, so without, with a very beautiful dirt distributed everywhere where I want. So not much, maybe little. So it's get some dirtiness, so that's good. Also, let's find a cloth patch PNG. I just want to show you how you can bring your own. So that's out of this world. This is nice. So I click here, download that. So you can bring your own materials into, let's save it into my Maya project resource image. I call it patch. Okay, let's go back to here, and I'm going to go to the file, import resources, add that in. Actually, I could have saved it somewhere else, but that's fine. So when you import a resource, a photo, a texture, a shader, you have to say, what is this? Here I say that this is not alpha. So you can import alpha channel like these ones. These are alphas, right? Or HDRI, which environment, or texture. This is a texture, and you can bring it to the entire library or only this project. I only want to add to this project. I import it here. It's there, right? I just added there. You can drag and drop it where you want and add as a base color. So you see that my patch is added here. You can add a patch here. Also, this patch could be added. This comes to the additional. This patch could be added, guys, as height or any other channels. So height is like an embossed, kind of stamped structure on it. You see that one? Or a combination of these two, which makes it very interesting. But I could you could turn this on, the combination. Actually, let me just delete this one. And the patch, you could have height enabled, and this one into the height channel as well. So I get both the height and the which I can go and adjust it. Projection depth. Oh no, that's another thing. So here you see that like I've got it as height and the also color. So if only would be color, would look like this, but height also intensifies that. So I have a patch. I have some dirt added. I can start adding some stitches. Let's search for it. I just search for stitch. Here you see that like when I search for a stitch, I've got this like stitch material. Oh, I have to add a paint layer. Grab this material, and is that how it should look like? No, I'm sure that I can start painting with it. Okay, maybe I should select a paint layer, and my material for paint layer would be this or this. Yeah. So you select a paint layer, and then you start paint alongside an area for stitching. But this could be a lot better, I am sure. Let's go to the yeah. So there is a paint here with stitch thing. Yeah. So make it larger. Yeah, and then I can draw some stitching on this one. So let's do some proper stitching actually. So you see that I'm doing all sorts of different type of shading. I like this stitch to be deeper, guys. So I need the normal map on it. Where's the normal map? It's here. The normal map is on. How can I make it deeper? Control Z, undo, Control Y, redo. And I should find the depth of it and make it thicker. I can't find it, but anyway. And this one also is nice. I can use this and add another paint layer. And the base color gonna be white for this one. Make it larger. Oh, actually it should be thinner, smaller. Also this one is a stitch pattern, but it gets lost in this complicated cloth. Maybe I use this one with whiteness. Yeah, that's better. This is better. And then I start to just like maybe I stitch something here. Maybe I stitch somewhere from here as well, alongside this one, down. So it's this is a ghost that made this like kind of costume for themselves out of very clumsily, like my texture skills. You know what? I like these big ones more, but that's fine. The point is just so you can call this stitch 1, this one stitch 2, and I'll put them all in this additional group that we created. And this additional group could be turned off. You see that, like how much richness they added to our texture painting. So let's bring the other ones. Eye material. For eyes, I just think a basic smart material like a copper with dark, like blackness instead of copperish would do the job. I like the eyes to be like very very cute and shiny, so that's why. But for the frame, I want the frame to be old and rusty. Is there any rust? No. Okay. Oh, there's a machinery. Yeah, that's one. Oh yeah, steel painted. This one is better, so because it's just like a little bit older, scrapped, dirty, and this one is, yeah, I drag and drop that one. That's not what I wanted, so that's I undo that. What about this one? Ah, yeah, this one finds out the texture a little bit better, but I think it can do a better job in recognizing the texture size. Here in the rust, we can increase the tiling or not. No. Let's see what this one does. Okay, that looks like a glass that is used. this is oily. I don't want this to be oily. I think that still painted gave the best results. I just have to make it less metallic, so it's just too. The metallicness comes from the base, of course. So like, I just make it the way I want. Somewhere here, less shiny or more shiny. And of course not red paint, maybe black. Okay, that's a nicer glass. So for the glass, guys, here's the technique, the complicated part, which for the glass we have. So PBR, if you remember, I said that, let me save this. I said that our texture word is metal roughness, ASM, or like this is PBR basically. And we have base, height, roughness, metallic, normal map. But for the glass, I set it to, let me search for opacity. So shader, one of them has opacity in it. Oh, why it doesn't show? This one says, yeah, this one says, like, if I select this one says alpha blending, sorry. Metal roughness with alpha blending. So I select that one. And here I click on this plus. Again, I'm in texture sets, guys. I'm not in the layers. I'm in texture sets where you baked your textures. On top of it, on top, you have these channels. In the channels, you have base color, you have height, roughness, metallic, but you don't have opacity. You add it. You click here, you add opacity. Here you realize, oh, in future I can add emissiveness, I can add ambient occlusion, all sorts of different. So opacity is added. So let's go back to the layers. I drop a glass for here, for these glasses for now. So that's a nice glass, but I want a dirty, scratched glass for this character, right? So first of all, let me just change the base color here, make it much more, maybe dark here, and yeah, blue and orangish, maybe a little bit orangish. Okay. So how can I add scratches onto this? So let's see. I'm gonna add. Let's see what we can do. Add a dirt layer on top of them. I call that maybe dirt and scratches. Make it dark and black maybe. And no normal map, opacity normal map, or metalness, or roughness, or height, just color. And I go search for dirt, and there must be, is there any scratch or something? Scratch. So we have grunge scratches. So is that one? So you see that? Oh yeah, that's a good one. So scratches are added everywhere, right? That's not what you want. So like, I want scratches to be added more towards the edges. So let's paint this out. So let's say that this one has a black mask on it, and then has a paint layer on it. And then I just grab a paintbrush and then start painting scratches back in from the sides to the center, a little bit in the back. It's just too strong, so I just make this layer, entire layer, like a little bit weaker. I want to do one experiment, guys. So I just want to see that what if I would turn on, for this layer, this layer, I turn on normal map as well, and the normal map uses the same scratch pattern, which was this. It might look so scary and massive, but we can, I don't know if I can make the normal map less visible or invert and no, okay, no, okay, what I've done, not the base color but normal map. I want this to be, it's not easy to manage, so I just, no, I get rid of that thought, but still I'm a bit not there yet. So I want roughness on this. How's the roughness on this one, by the way? If the base would be, the roughness on it is very, yeah, it should be, it could be more rough. So it's a glass, so its roughness is high. But I want to see if I can add a layer and add some deeper scratch on it. It's cool already. I like it. But let's do that one and then finish this for today. Add another layer and everything off except the heightness. And in the heightness, grab the scratches. Ooh, that was maybe this one. Okay, that's nice. And make it less strong. Let's add black mask as usual. Add not fill layer but paint layer, and just paint. No, just too much paint. Make it little thin. Just few like this kind of like few things, few scratches, like few marks, and you see that I don't want it to be too significant, just a little on the edges. Yeah, you see, like let me just say height map scratch. So I just want to show you the difference. So see, without width, it's much more pleasing to look at. These like little details make it like much more interesting. Okay, so I'm happy. So let's send the textures back to Maya. So I just go to the export textures, output. You see that it's going to send to source images. Output template is going to be Arnold, as we did previously. I hope it overwrites. So you see that the naming is ghost body blah blah blah. One way to so why I hope it overwrites, because I already have created this connection, right? I just want this to just work. So everything would be replaced. Oh, tongue. We forgot tongue, guys. Let me just bring back tongue and just give something like a flesh or something. A flesh or a skin or something organic. What are this? Creature, something that. Oh, that's yuck. I gave a simple plastic, black plastic kind of mood to it. This plastic one, and make it dark reddish. It's hard to find the balance. And less shiny, of course. Oh yeah. Okay. Now we have everything ready. So I was telling you that the ideal scenario is that everything would be replaced with what we just created. If they don't, what you do, you just select the ones you had so far. You cut them into a folder called all textures and paste it there. Before doing that, I wish I would have exported and see if it overwrites. But if you want to have your like multiple versions, this could have been named all textures version like 5, right? So now I just export these textures with AI standard template to the same folder, export. They get exported with the same namings because Maya already have set them. Try again. Skip that one. These are the Arnold one. Okay, because Maya already have those shaders set and already with these namings. So if I reload those textures, for example here for the body base color, if it gets reloaded, so you see that it's now with the new color. So all of them comes with the new structure. So let's go back to our camera and then in Maya and test it out. I'm going to save it. I'm glad I saved. Okay, most of the things are working except so you see that like the body is nice and neat the way I want with the textures loaded, but like the glasses, they have like this weird thing happening to them. As I explained before, like how to fix this, you just go to Hypershade, and so let me pause this rendering so we get there. So you just find the shader for the glass, which is, I should have named these shaders, but we'll do it later. So this is body, and this is the frame, I believe. Yes, this is the frame. So when you open it, you just select the last shader set or shader group, and then click on this show input and output again, and then you have this displacement shader, and you realize, oh, the displacement is set to 1, which should be much less, like maybe 1%, and then you render, and then it should be sorted. If it doesn't, we have to figure out what else. Maybe glass also as well. Ah, right, because for the glass I added some height map to it for the glasses. Now I remembered. So I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna make it less. Yeah, I found it. Make it less, and yeah, it started to work. Yeah, I like these edges. So let's make a high resolution. Actually, I'm gonna change the resolution. I'm gonna reverse it. So if you set to 1080p, I make it 1080 to 1920, like a vertical, and I fit this in, and then I save it. I make sure that select the light, Control A. So I'd say this last step for your test rendering, guys. Select your lights, increase the sampling to 8, and go to the render settings. Arnold render 3 is already good, right? But you can make it 4 just in case. So like, then run the render. Okay, and this is our last render view, which is very much similar to our Substance Painter result. I just moved the patch to the front because that looks cooler to me. So that was one like round of complete workflow between Maya and Substance Painter.